Are you living the life you were truly meant to live, or are you simply existing in the shadow of your own potential? Think about that for a moment. Welcome back to another transformative session. Today we're diving into something that Neville Goddard's teachings have illuminated for generations: the art of rebuilding yourself from the inside out. Has this ever happened to you? You wake up with grand intentions, filled with motivation and plans, only to find yourself scrolling mindlessly through your phone an hour later, your precious morning slipping away in a haze of digital distraction. This stops today. This very moment marks the beginning of your transformation. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, but right now. Because today is not a day for excuses. It's not a day to scroll, to complain, or to wait for perfect conditions. Today is the day you begin to rebuild yourself from the foundation up. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might surprise you. The truth is, you are both the architect and the building material of your own life. No blueprint from outside yourself will ever match the vision you hold within. And no one, absolutely no one, is coming to rebuild you. This responsibility rests solely on your shoulders, and that's actually the most empowering news you could receive. The world around us is deafeningly loud, bombarding us with opinions, distractions, and empty promises at every turn. But none of it matters if you're not focused on building yourself. Every second spent fixated on someone else's journey is a second stolen from your own progress. What would happen if you redirected all that outward attention inward? What mountains could you move if your focus was laser sharp and directed solely toward your own development? Your attention must be directed inward every single day, without exception. Not just when it's convenient, not just when motivation strikes like lightning on a clear day, every single day. This isn't about selfishness, it's about creating a foundation strong enough to eventually serve others from a place of true abundance rather than depletion. What if I told you that the version of yourself you've always imagined, the confident, disciplined, unstoppable force of nature that accomplishes goals with ease, is merely waiting for you to focus long enough to bring it into existence? The gap between who you are now and who you're capable of becoming is bridged by one thing only: focus. That single-minded, unwavering attention to your personal evolution. If you're serious about your personal transformation journey, hit that subscribe button now. I share powerful insights on rebuilding yourself that you won't want to miss. Now I want to go even deeper into this topic because there's a hidden truth about transformation that few people truly understand. Your goals, your dreams, the vision you hold for your future self. They're completely indifferent to your emotional state. They don't care if you feel motivated today. They don't care if you're tired, uninspired, or waiting for that perfect spark of inspiration. The path to achievement isn't paved with motivation. It's built on the bedrock of discipline. This revelation changed everything in my own journey. When I finally understood that discipline trumps motivation every single time, I experienced a fundamental shift in my approach to personal development. True discipline isn't about forcing yourself to do things you hate. It's about making decisions from your highest self and honoring those decisions regardless of how your lower self feels in the moment. Winners in life, those rare individuals who consistently achieve what they set out to do, aren't necessarily more motivated than everyone else. They simply perform consistently, showing up and doing the work even when the emotional high has faded. This is the secret that separates those who talk about their dreams from those who actually live them. The decisions you make when no one is watching, when no one is cheering you on, when you feel least like doing the work, These are the decisions that sculpt your destiny. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're laying another brick in the foundation of your future success. But discipline alone isn't enough. To truly transform your life, you need to construct a mindset so resilient that doubt has nowhere to land. Think about that for a moment. A mental fortress so impenetrable that when doubt comes knocking, it finds no crack, no weakness, no entry point. Building this unshakable mindset doesn't happen overnight. It's forged in the crucible of daily choices, of pushing beyond perceived limitations, of falling and getting back up with renewed determination. It's about becoming so consistent that excuses can't keep pace with your forward momentum. When you show up day after day, regardless of circumstances, you send a powerful message to yourself. I am someone who follows through. Perhaps most importantly, this mindset transforms the very nature of failure itself. Instead of allowing setbacks to defeat you, you learn to extract the fuel. From them, the lessons, the growth, the redirection. Every obstacle becomes a stepping stone, every mistake a teacher. This isn't merely positive thinking, it's strategic thinking. It's the difference between being broken by life's challenges and being built by them. The journey to rebuilding yourself is intensely personal. No one walks this path exactly as you do. The specific battles you fight, the demons you face, the victories you claim, they're uniquely yours. But the underlying principles of transformation remain constant. Discipline over motivation, consistency over perfection, resilience over fragility. I'd love to hear where you are in your own journey of transformation. Write in the comments, I choose discipline, if you're ready to commit to this path of consistent action regardless of emotional state. Now, let's explore how this mindset translates into tangible, daily practices that revolutionize your everyday existence. The journey of transformation requires one more critical element, a resolute rejection of weakness, not the natural human vulnerabilities we all possess, but the weakness of spirit that keeps us playing small, making excuses, and accepting mediocrity. You simply cannot afford to entertain this kind of weakness while your dreams remain unfulfilled. Think about it. There's a higher version of yourself waiting in the wings, eager to emerge and take center stage in your life story. This elevated self isn't some distant fantasy. It's your authentic nature, merely requiring your full commitment and strength to manifest. This revelation often strikes people as harsh, but true growth rarely emerges from comfortable places. The most profound metamorphosis happens when we acknowledge our current limitations while refusing to be defined by them. It's about standing at the crossroads between who you are and who you could be, then making the conscious decision to evolve. Subscribe to join our community of builders, people committed to becoming the strongest version of themselves. Every video is designed to help you break through your limitations. The blueprint for this evolution is simpler than most people realize. It's about committing to daily improvement, those small, consistent actions that compound over time into remarkable transformation. Each sunrise brings a fresh opportunity to become sharper, smarter, and stronger than you were yesterday. Not in giant, unsustainable leaps, but in deliberate, intentional steps. Read that book that's been sitting on your shelf. Complete those repetitions even when your muscles burn in protest. Develop that skill that intimidates you. Master your relationship with time rather than being mastered by it. And perhaps most critically, protect your energy reserves with the vigilance of someone guarding their most precious resource, because that's exactly what your energy is. Behind the scenes of every significant breakthrough lies a mosaic of these small, daily improvements. They're rarely glamorous or Instagram-worthy. They won't immediately trigger dopamine rushes or external validation. But their impact is undeniable, and their compound effect is what creates the quantum shifts in your life's trajectory. I've witnessed this phenomenon not just in my own journey, but in countless others. Ordinary people achieving extraordinary results through this commitment to incremental growth. The common denominator isn't some rare talent or fortunate circumstance. It's the unwavering dedication to becoming better today than they were yesterday. What makes this approach so powerful is that it places your evolution entirely within your control. You don't need permission, perfect conditions, or even exceptional talent. You simply need the awareness that each day presents multiple opportunities for improvement and the discipline to capitalize on them consistently. This isn't about perfectionism. It's about progression. It's about honoring the sacred contract between your current self and the future self you're creating through your daily choices. Every small victory, every tiny improvement becomes a bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. If this resonates with you, type daily growth in the comments as your commitment to this path of consistent improvement. Now let's examine how this mindset shifts your perspective on obstacles and challenges that once seemed insurmountable. When we harness the transformative power of focus, something almost magical begins to unfold in our lives. It's a phenomenon I've witnessed repeatedly in my own journey and in the journeys of countless others who've applied these principles. When your focus is entirely on self-improvement, not on comparing, not on complaining, not on external circumstances beyond your control, your power multiplies exponentially. This isn't mystical thinking, it's practical psychology. Your mental bandwidth is finite, and every ounce of attention you direct toward meaningless activities or undeserving people is energy diverted from your evolution. Think about the revelation that comes when you finally realize how much of your precious life force has been squandered on activities that return absolutely nothing of value. The social media scrolling that leaves you feeling empty, the toxic relationships that drain rather than fill your cup, the mindless consumption that numbs rather than nurtures your spirit. When you consciously redirect that energy toward your growth, the acceleration in your journey becomes almost startling. This redirection creates a powerful feedback loop. As you invest more energy in yourself, you begin seeing tangible results. Those results fuel your confidence, which in turn strengthens your resolve to maintain focus. Before long, what once required conscious effort becomes your natural state, the path of least resistance. Behind the scenes of this transformation lies another critical shift: the liberation from external validation. We're conditioned from childhood to seek approval from others, to measure our worth through their eyes. But this dependency creates an unstable foundation for your sense of self. The enlightened path forward requires you to cease this pursuit of external validation and begin collecting personal victories instead. This isn't about ego, it's about elevation. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Each time you honor a commitment to yourself, each time you push beyond a self-imposed limitation, each time you choose growth over comfort, these become the building blocks of authentic confidence. Unlike the fragile confidence built on others' opinions, this self-generated assurance cannot be shaken by criticism or indifference. The irony is that when you stop seeking validation, you often receive more of it naturally. People are instinctively drawn to those who possess this quiet certainty, this inner compass that isn't swayed by external judgments. They sense the authenticity, the groundedness, the unwavering clarity of purpose, and these qualities are magnetic. But none of this can happen until you're locked onto your mission with unwavering focus, until your own growth becomes non-negotiable, until you value your evolution more than you value temporary comfort or fleeting approval. The decision to prioritize your development above all else is perhaps the most profound commitment you can make to yourself. This journey of transformation requires courage. The courage to stand apart, to walk your own path, to trust your inner guidance even when it leads you away from the crowd. It requires patience, the understanding that meaningful change happens gradually, that today's small victory contains tomorrow's breakthrough, and it requires unwavering faith in your capacity to evolve beyond your current limitations. If you've made this decision to prioritize your growth over external validation, type "inner compass" in the comments below. Now let's explore how this mindset creates a foundation for consistent action even in the face of resistance and uncertainty. One of the most profound revelations in this journey of transformation is recognizing that each day presents you with a fundamental choice, one that most people make unconsciously, but that shapes the entire trajectory of their lives. Will you build or will you break? Will you grow or will you stagnate? Will you focus, or will you fade away? This daily decision point happens whether you acknowledge it or not. The question is whether you'll make this choice deliberately, with intention and awareness, or whether you'll allow external circumstances and internal habits to make it for you. The power lies in recognizing that no matter what happened yesterday, today offers a fresh opportunity to choose growth. What makes this insight so revolutionary is its simplicity. Each morning, ask yourself, what aspect of myself am I developing today? What weakness am I eliminating? What strength am I cultivating? These questions shift your mindset from passive to active, from reactive to proactive. They place you firmly in the driver's seat of your own evolution. The most successful individuals I've studied and worked with share this common practice. They don't just let days happen to them. They approach each day as a deliberate opportunity to move closer to their highest potential. They understand that the distance between who they are and who they want to become is crossed through these daily choices. Now I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing a crucial misconception. Many people approach personal development as though it were an event, a weekend seminar, a breakthrough moment, a dramatic life change, but the truth is far more nuanced. Personal reconstruction isn't a one-time event, but a daily commitment. This is where the real work happens, in the quiet grind, often on a solitary journey that few will understand or appreciate. It's showing up for yourself when no one is watching. It's pushing through resistance when motivation has long since evaporated. It's recommitting to your vision even when results seem distant or progress appears slow. The paradox here is beautiful. This journey, while often solitary, leads to the deepest connections with others. As you rebuild yourself day by day, you naturally attract those who resonate with your authentic energy. You create an invisible bridge to others on similar paths, those rare individuals who understand the value of continuous growth. And make no mistake, for those who remain dedicated, the rewards are unmatched. Not just external rewards, though those often follow, but the internal reward of becoming someone you truly respect, someone who honors commitments to themselves, someone who doesn't need external validation because they know their own worth. This daily reconstruction creates a foundation that can't be shaken by criticism, setbacks, or temporary failures. It builds a core of inner certainty that becomes your center of gravity when life's storms rage around you. It transforms you into someone who doesn't just weather those storms, but who grows stronger because of them. If you recognize yourself as someone who's committed to this daily choice for growth, type "daily decision" in the comments below. Now, let's explore how this commitment to continuous rebuilding transforms your relationship with challenges and obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. There's a hidden truth at the core of human existence that most people never fully grasp. You are your greatest project. Not your career, not your relationships, not your possessions. You, the internal landscape of your mind, the capacity of your heart, the strength of your character, these constitute the masterpiece you're creating with each passing day. While the world around you sleeps or merely talks about change, you have the opportunity to maintain unwavering focus on this masterwork. You're building something that can never be taken from you, regardless of economic shifts, relationship changes, or external circumstances. A rebuilt, relentless, unstoppable version of yourself. And here's the part that adds profound weight to each decision you make. Your future self is watching your actions today. Imagine that for a moment. The person you'll be in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now is observing every choice you're making right now. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, courage over fear, you're sending a message to that future self. You're saying, I care about you. I'm investing in you. I refuse to sacrifice your potential for my temporary comfort. This perspective transforms even the smallest actions into meaningful contributions to your evolution. That early morning workout isn't just about physical health. It's a declaration of commitment to your highest self. That difficult conversation isn't just about resolving a conflict. It's about cultivating emotional intelligence and integrity. That hour spent learning instead of scrolling isn't just about acquiring information. It's about becoming someone who values wisdom over distraction. Now I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing what might be the most revolutionary insight of all. Building yourself is your primary mission in life. There is no task more important than developing yourself. Not your career advancement, not your relationships, not even your comfort. This may sound selfish at first glance, but it's actually the furthest thing from selfishness. When you make your own development the centerpiece of your existence, everything else naturally elevates. Your career thrives because you bring more value. Your relationships deepen because you show up as your best self. Your impact expands because you have more to offer. The quality of your entire life flows from the foundation you build within. Think of it as the ultimate paradox. By focusing inward, your outward expression becomes more powerful. By prioritizing your growth, you become capable of greater service. By refusing to settle for mediocrity within yourself, you inspire excellence in others. This isn't theoretical, it's the lived experience of every truly transformed individual throughout history. The journey of self-development isn't always visible to others. Much of it happens in private. Moments of decision, in silent recommitments, in unseen struggles against your own limitations. But make no mistake, this internal work shapes your external reality more powerfully than any other force. It's the hidden architecture beneath every visible success, every meaningful contribution, every authentic connection. If you're ready to embrace the truth that you are your greatest project and that developing yourself is your primary mission, type "My Masterpiece" in the comments below. Now, let's examine how this commitment manifests in your daily habits and how these habits collectively shape your destiny. Here's a revelation that might fundamentally shift your perspective. There is no such thing as a neutral day. Every single day, you're either constructing the person you were meant to become or dismantling that potential through distraction, laziness, and self-doubt. There is no middle ground, no pause button, no holding pattern. This truth can be uncomfortable to confront because it demands radical responsibility. It means acknowledging that each seemingly insignificant choice, to scroll instead of read, to watch instead of create, to complain instead of solve, is actively moving you away from your highest potential. Not staying still, but actually reversing your progress. Think about the hidden architecture of your daily decisions. When you choose to hit snooze rather than rise with purpose, you're not just losing an hour, you're reinforcing an identity of someone who prioritizes comfort over commitment. When you abandon a challenging task at the first sign of difficulty, you're not just delaying completion, you're strengthening neural pathways of surrender rather than persistence. The revelation here isn't that we sometimes make suboptimal choices. That's universal. The transformation happens when you fully grasp that these aren't isolated incidents, but pattern-forming decisions that either construct or deconstruct your future self. This awareness brings both gravity and opportunity to even the smallest moments of your day. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing a common misconception that keeps many people trapped in cycles of stagnation. Self-improvement isn't a seasonal activity reserved only for moments of crisis or January resolutions. It isn't something you schedule for someday when conditions are perfect. It happens daily, hourly, moment by moment, or it doesn't happen at all. This continuous nature of rebuilding is what separates those who create lasting transformation from those who merely experience temporary changes. It's the difference between the person who loses weight only to regain it and the one who fundamentally changes their relationship with health. Between the entrepreneur who launches businesses that fail and the one who builds sustainable success. Between the relationship that repeatedly cycles through the same conflicts and the one that evolves toward deeper understanding. Each morning presents an opportunity to ask yourself, what aspect of myself will I strengthen today? Will you develop your patience, your focus, your courage, your compassion, your discipline? This question becomes a compass, directing your energy toward deliberate growth rather than random activity or worse, unconscious regression. Behind the scenes of every extraordinary life is this mundane but magical practice, the consistent strengthening of character, capability, and consciousness. It's rarely dramatic, it won't make headlines, but it's the invisible foundation upon which all visible success is built. The daily recommitment to becoming more than you were yesterday. The journey of rebuilding yourself is both humbling and empowering. Humbling because it requires acknowledging that you're always a work in progress. Empowering because it places the trajectory of your life firmly in your own hands. You become both the sculptor and the marble, constantly chiseling away what doesn't serve your highest expression while strengthening what does. If you're committed to this path of continuous reconstruction, type Daily Builder in the comments below. Now, let's explore how maintaining this discipline transforms your relationship with obstacles that once seemed impossible to overcome. One of the most liberating revelations in this journey of personal transformation is understanding that life rewards workers, not waiters. This insight cuts through so many illusions that keep people stuck in cycles of inaction and unfulfillment. Too many people are waiting for the perfect moment to start, waiting to feel motivated enough, waiting for conditions to align perfectly, waiting for permission, waiting for certainty. They're waiting for lightning to strike, for inspiration to descend from the heavens and propel them into action. But here's the breakthrough insight. Life doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who work consistently despite lacking motivation. This is the great separator between those who achieve remarkable things and those who merely dream about them. The achievers have discovered that action precedes motivation, not the other way around. They've learned that momentum doesn't come from waiting for the right feeling. It comes from taking the first step, especially when you don't feel like it. Think about the hidden architecture behind every great accomplishment. Behind the scenes, you'll rarely find perfect conditions or constant inspiration. What you'll find instead is persistent action, taken day after day, regardless of emotional state or external circumstances. The novelist who writes 500 words daily, whether inspiration visits or not. The entrepreneur who makes calls and solves problems even on their worst days. The athlete who trains when their body screams for rest. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing perhaps the most transformative mindset shift. You can make seeing yourself as the builder rather than the victim. This revelation alters everything about how you approach challenges and opportunities alike. You are not a helpless victim awaiting rescue, not from circumstances, not from other people, not even from your past. You are the builder, the sculptor, the one who determines what version of yourself emerges each morning. You have the power to shape your reality through your decisions, your actions, your responses to whatever life presents. This mindset doesn't deny the reality of genuine hardship or systemic challenges. Rather, it focuses your attention on what remains within your control, even in difficult circumstances. It asks, given what I'm facing, what can I build? How can I respond in a way that strengthens rather than diminishes me? The victim mindset waits for conditions to change. The builder mindset asks how to create value despite current conditions. The victim fixates on what's been taken. The builder, he focuses on what can be created. The victim seeks someone to blame. The builder seeks a path forward regardless of who's at fault. This shift from victim to builder doesn't happen once. It's a choice you make repeatedly, sometimes multiple times in a single day. Every time you catch yourself slipping into passive resignation or blame, you have the opportunity to pivot back to the stance of the active creator. Every time you feel powerless, you can reclaim your power through even one small, constructive action. If you're committed to embracing this builder's mindset rather than remaining stuck in victimhood, type Master Builder in the comments below. Now, let's explore how this perspective transforms your relationship with the most valuable resource you possess, your time and attention. There's a powerful distinction in this journey of transformation that separates those who achieve extraordinary results from those who merely talk about them. It's the willingness to move. While others watch, to take decisive action while the majority remains passive observers. Let others waste their days observing and talking. You have the opportunity to move in silence and rebuild yourself in private, away from the spotlight and social media validation. This creates a fascinating dynamic. While they scroll through feeds seeking distraction, you study with intensity. While they complain about circumstances, you train with purpose. While they doubt possibilities, you act with conviction. This isn't about superiority, it's about strategy. In a world obsessed with visibility, there's hidden power in invisible progress. The quiet work you do when no one's watching often yields the most dramatic transformations. Those breakthrough moments others witness are merely the visible manifestation of countless unseen hours of consistent effort. Think about the revelations that come when you step away from the cultural addiction to constant validation and comparison. When you're not performing for an audience, you're free to experiment, to fail, to adjust, and to grow authentically rather than according to external expectations. This is where true evolution happens, in the sacred space between your potential and your disciplined action. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing a truth that's rarely acknowledged in our highlight reel culture. The rebuilding process isn't glamorous. It's gritty, lonely, and often thankless. There are no montages in real life, no inspiring soundtrack playing as you push through resistance, no audience applauding your daily commitment to becoming better. The journey of transformation is filled with unglamorous moments. Early mornings when your body begs for more sleep, but you rise anyway, facing a difficult truth about yourself that would be easier to ignore. Continuing when results seem distant or progress feels slow. Choosing the challenging conversation over comfortable avoidance. Standing by your standards when it would be easier to compromise. What makes this journey so powerful, despite its lack of glamour, is the compound effect of consistent choice. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, delayed gratification over immediate pleasure, growth over stagnation, you're not just affecting that moment, you're strengthening the foundation of your future self. You're literally rewiring neural pathways, reinforcing identity-level beliefs, and accumulating momentum that will eventually become unstoppable. Behind the scenes of every remarkable transformation is this unglamorous reality, the daily recommitment, the quiet perseverance, the solitary pursuit of excellence when no external force is pushing you forward. It's choosing to do the work not because anyone will notice or applaud, but because you've made a sacred agreement with your future self to become everything you're capable of becoming. This is why the path of transformation is simultaneously the hardest and most rewarding journey you'll ever undertake. It demands everything from you, your comfort, your excuses, your limiting beliefs, your attachment to immediate gratification. But it returns something priceless, a life lived at the edge of your potential, rather than in the shadow of your fears. If you recognize the value in this unglamorous but powerful process of silent growth, type "silent builder" in the comments below. Now let's explore how this commitment to quiet excellence transforms your relationship with criticism and the opinions of others. When we truly examine the foundation of personal transformation, we discover that the first cornerstone must be radical responsibility. Rebuilding begins with accepting complete ownership of your life. Not partially, not conditionally, but entirely. This means stopping the endless cycle of blaming your past, your upbringing, your environment, or your luck. These external factors may explain your starting point. They may contextualize your challenges, but they do not determine your destination. You do, through your moment-by-moment choices, through your responses to circumstances rather than your reactions. This revelation can be simultaneously terrifying and liberating. Terrifying because there's nowhere to hide, no one else to blame if you fail to become what you're capable of becoming. Liberating because you suddenly realize the immense power that's been within your grasp all along. The power to choose your path. Regardless of your starting point, think about the profound shift in energy that happens when you move from "this happened to me" to "this is what I'm choosing to do about it." From "I can't because" to "I will find a way despite." The victim seeks reasons why they can't. The builder finds ways they can. The victim's story ends with their circumstance. The builder's story begins with their response. The journey of transformation isn't about denying the reality of your challenges or the impact of your past. It's about refusing to let those factors dictate your future. It's about acknowledging where you are while simultaneously refusing to stay there if it's not where you want to be. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by revealing what might be your most powerful asset in this rebuilding process: your focus. When your attention is scattered, pulled in countless directions by notifications, others' opinions, drama, comparison, and mindless consumption, your energy is likewise scattered, and scattered energy rarely creates meaningful change. But when your mind fixates with laser precision on growth and improvement, on the daily actions that move you toward your vision, something remarkable happens. You become unstoppable. Not in some mystical sense, but in the very practical reality that concentrated effort applied consistently yields exponential results. This focused mindset creates a fascinating side effect. You naturally cease caring about irrelevant opinions and pointless drama, not through force or denial, but through genuine indifference. When you're locked onto a compelling vision for your life, when you're engaged in the meaningful work of becoming your best self, you simply don't have the bandwidth to be distracted by matters that don't serve your evolution. The quality of your focus determines the quality of your life. Your attention isn't just something you give. It's your most valuable resource, the very substance from which you construct your experience. What you consistently focus on expands in your awareness and ultimately in your reality. This principle is at work whether you're conscious of it or not. The person who constantly focuses on limitations experiences a life defined by constraints. The one who focuses on opportunities experiences a life abundant with possibilities. Same circumstances, different focus, entirely different experience and outcomes. If you're ready to harness the transformative power of taking full responsibility for your life and directing your focus with intention, type power of choice in the comments below. Now let's explore how this focused responsibility creates resilience in the face of inevitable challenges and setbacks. There's a truth about personal transformation that's rarely discussed in our comfort-obsessed culture. Genuine growth requires discomfort. Not optional discomfort, not occasional discomfort, but necessary, unavoidable discomfort that serves as the catalyst for your evolution. The rebuilding process is inherently painful because growth always involves stretching beyond your current limitations. It's the resistance against that stretch, the internal friction, the uncertainty, the temporary awkwardness of new behaviors that signals real transformation is occurring. This is why most people remain stuck in familiar patterns despite desiring change. They want the results without the discomfort that produces those results. Think about the metamorphosis that occurs as you rebuild yourself from the inside out. You'll inevitably outgrow certain people, not because you've become superior, but because your values, priorities, and energy have fundamentally shifted. You'll often find yourself walking alone, at least temporarily, as you forge a path that aligns with your highest vision rather than others' expectations. You'll face the brutal but liberating process of confronting and overcoming weaknesses one by one, those limitations you've carried, perhaps for decades, that no longer serve the person you're becoming. Most profoundly, you'll rebuild your very identity, your habits, your thought patterns, your beliefs about what's possible for your life. The journey through this necessary discomfort reveals your true capacity, which almost always exceeds what you previously believed possible. The resilience you develop through embracing these challenges becomes the foundation for every future achievement. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing what might be the most misunderstood aspect of personal transformation, the role of failure. Most people have been conditioned to see failure as the end, as proof they should abandon their pursuit, as confirmation of their limitations. But this perspective completely inverts the truth. You will fail and falter along this journey, not because something is wrong with you, but because this is how growth works. The question isn't whether you'll fail, it's what you'll do when you fail. If you remain committed and refuse to quit, you'll discover that failure isn't the end. It's the beginning of your next level of development. Every significant breakthrough in human history, every remarkable personal transformation follows this pattern. Failure, properly understood and leveraged, becomes the catalyst for advancement rather than the evidence for surrender. The innovator's path is paved with experiments that didn't work before finding the one that did. The master's journey is filled with attempts that fell short before achieving mastery. What separates those who ultimately succeed from those who remain stuck isn't talent, resources, or luck, though these factors certainly exist. It's the capacity to see failure not as a final verdict, but as vital feedback, as the necessary information that guides your next iteration, as the very soil from which new growth emerges. This perspective transforms your relationship with the inevitable setbacks along your path. Instead of being devastated by them, you become curious about them. Instead of being defined by them, you learn from them. Instead of being stopped by them, you're propelled by them toward greater understanding and capability. If you're ready to embrace the necessary discomfort of growth and reframe your relationship with failure, type "embracing the fire" in the comments below. Now let's examine how this resilient mindset changes your relationship with time and patience. There's a profound truth that emerges when you fully commit to this path of transformation, one that can initially feel isolating, but ultimately becomes deeply empowering. The work is yours alone. No one else can do it for you. No one can transform your mindset, reprogram your habits, or rebuild your identity on your behalf. Others may cheer you on from the sidelines, and that support can be invaluable. Some may doubt your commitment or capacity to change, which can either defeat you or fuel you, depending on how you receive it. Many will simply observe your journey with curiosity or indifference. But regardless of external responses, the real transformation, the inner alchemy that changes who you are at your core, depends entirely on you. This revelation places you at a critical crossroads. You can either endure the temporary pain of rebuilding or suffer the permanent pain of stagnation. There is no third option, no middle path that allows for both comfort and growth. The discomfort of pushing beyond your limitations, of challenging your beliefs, of developing discipline, it's substantial but temporary. The pain of remaining stagnant, of watching your potential go unfulfilled, of knowing you settled for less than you were capable of becoming, that's permanent. Think about the liberation that comes with fully accepting this responsibility. When you stop waiting for someone else to fix you, save you, or transform you, you reclaim your power. You stop being a passenger in your own life and take your rightful place in the driver's seat. You recognize that while you can't control every circumstance, you have complete authority over your response to those circumstances. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing what might be the most empowering revelation of all. You already have everything you need for this transformation. This isn't motivational fluff. It's a practical truth that can revolutionize your approach to personal development. Everything required for your evolution already exists within you. You have the same 24 hours in your day as history's greatest achievers had in theirs. You have pain and challenges that, rather than being obstacles to your growth, can be converted into the very fuel that powers your transformation. You have dreams and visions of what's possible that need only be paired with consistent effort to become your reality. This doesn't mean the journey will be easy. It means it's possible. It means the primary ingredients for your transformation aren't external resources you lack, but internal resources you already possess. The capacity for discipline, for focus, for resilience, for reinvention. These aren't talents granted to a select few. They're human capabilities that can be developed through consistent practice. Behind the scenes of every remarkable journey of transformation is this fundamental shift. From "I need something I don't have" to "I already have everything I need." From "when I get X, then I'll be able to change" to "I can begin right now with exactly what I have." This mindset doesn't deny the value of education, mentorship, or resources. It simply recognizes that waiting for perfect conditions is just another form of procrastination. If you're ready to embrace the truth that this work is yours alone and that you already possess everything essential for your transformation, type "ready within" in the comments below. Now let's explore how this internal power manifests through your daily practices and how these habits collectively shape your identity. There's a profound principle that emerges when you fully commit to personal transformation: the non-negotiable daily investment in your own greatness. This isn't optional, it's essential. Don't let a single day pass without making some deposit into the account of your future self, no matter how small it might seem in the moment. Each investment compounds over time, creating an extraordinary return that most people never experience because they're unwilling to make these daily deposits. They chase quick fixes and overnight success stories while ignoring the quiet power of consistent incremental growth. But the transformation you seek happens through accumulation, not through sudden leaps. Think about the hidden architecture behind every extraordinary life. Behind the scenes of seemingly overnight success stories are thousands of days where someone chose discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, long-term vision over short-term gratification. They understood that comfort, while appealing in the moment, becomes a prison when it prevents your evolution. Each morning presents a pivotal moment of decision. A crossroads where you determine what aspect of your future self you'll construct today. Will you strengthen your mind through learning, your body through movement, your character through keeping difficult promises to yourself, your creativity through expression? These aren't just activities, they're deliberate acts of self-creation. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing the fundamental tools of transformation that you already possess. Your mind isn't just a collection of thoughts and feelings, it's an instrument to be sharpened. Like any instrument, its capacity expands through deliberate practice, through challenging it beyond its current capabilities, through feeding it materials that stretch rather than merely entertain it. Your body isn't just a vehicle that carries you through life. It's a machine to be trained, not necessarily for aesthetic perfection, but for vitality, strength, and the capacity to serve your highest purposes. The energy you need for sustained transformation comes from this physical foundation. Your soul, that inner compass that guides your decisions when aligned with your truest values, requires protection. In a world filled with noise, distraction, and competing agendas, maintaining this spiritual integrity becomes a revolutionary act. It means regularly reconnecting with what matters most to you, not what others expect or demand. Your time isn't just passing moments. It's currency to be invested. Unlike financial currency, however, it can never be earned back once spent. This reality demands a level of intentionality that most never develop. Every hour either builds your desired future or diminishes it. There is no neutral expenditure. Collectively, these elements form your legacy, not just what you leave behind when you're gone, but the living testament you create through your daily existence. Your life isn't something that happens to you. It's something you deliberately construct through thousands of seemingly small decisions that ultimately reveal who you truly are. The revelation here isn't that transformation is complex, it's that the tools required have been within your possession all along. The journey isn't about acquiring something external, but about activating and aligning what you already possess. If you're committed to wielding these fundamental tools of transformation with greater intention, type "inner arsenal" in the comments below. Now let's explore how this daily investment creates momentum that eventually becomes unstoppable. One of the most liberating revelations in this journey of transformation is realizing that permission is unnecessary. So many remain trapped in potential, waiting for some external authority to grant them license to begin their evolution. They wait for the perfect conditions, the perfect timing, the perfect resources, the perfect validation, essentially postponing their growth indefinitely. But here's the breakthrough insight. You don't need permission or perfect conditions to begin. You don't need anyone's approval to commence the work of rebuilding yourself. You don't need all circumstances aligned before taking the first step. You only need to make the sovereign decision to rise with purpose and approach each day as if it matters, because it does, profoundly and irreversibly. Think about the hidden architecture behind every remarkable transformation. It rarely begins with fanfare or perfect alignment of circumstances. It begins with a quiet decision, often made in a moment of clarity or desperation, to no longer accept the gap between who you are and who you could be. That decision, not external conditions, is the true starting point of transformation. The revelation here isn't just that you don't need permission, it's that waiting for permission is actually a sophisticated form of resistance, a way to postpone the discomfort of growth while appearing committed to change. "I'll start when" becomes the mantra that keeps potential perpetually unrealized. Your daily unseen efforts, accumulated consistently over time, will eventually produce undeniable visible results. This is the physics of personal transformation. Not magic, not luck, but the predictable outcome of focused, persistent action. The world operates on cause and effect, and your consistent efforts are causes that must, by natural law, produce effects. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing what might be the most profound satisfaction in this journey, the private knowledge of who truly deserves credit when transformation occurs. The world may not witness your daily efforts, the early mornings, the private struggles, the moments of doubt overcome, the temptations resisted. They won't see the pages read, the reps completed, the difficult conversations initiated, the comfort sacrificed for growth. But the world will eventually see your results. They'll notice the shift in your presence, your capability, your impact. They'll observe the manifestation of your inner work in tangible outcomes. And when that day comes, when others begin to acknowledge your transformation, you'll know exactly who deserves the credit, the person who refused to quit when quitting seemed reasonable, who showed up despite fatigue and uncertainty, who trained in solitude when no one was watching or cheering. This private knowledge becomes a source of unshakable confidence that no external validation can match. It's the quiet certainty that comes from knowing you've earned your transformation through persistent effort, rather than luck or privilege. It's the profound self-respect that emerges when your actions align with your highest vision for yourself. The journey of rebuilding yourself is both the most challenging and most rewarding endeavor you'll ever undertake. No external achievement can match the satisfaction of becoming someone you deeply respect, someone whose word to themselves is unbreakable, someone who consistently chooses growth over comfort. If you're committed to beginning your transformation without waiting for permission or perfect conditions, type "starting now" in the comments below. Now let's examine how this commitment transforms your relationship with the noise and distractions that constantly compete for your attention. There's a profound truth that emerges when you fully commit to this path of transformation. The world's endless distractions aren't your concern. This might sound radical in a culture that bombards you with notifications, headlines, trends, and urgent demands for your attention, but it's absolutely essential for meaningful growth. You weren't born to absorb every voice, opinion, or trend that crosses your path. You weren't designed to carry the collective noise of the world while simultaneously attempting to build something significant within yourself. Every moment spent on these distractions doesn't just pass harmlessly. It actively robs your future potential and dilutes your power. Think about the revelation that comes when you finally understand that your attention isn't just something you casually give away. It's the primary resource from which you build your life. It's the raw material of transformation. When scattered across countless inputs that don't serve your evolution, your energy becomes too fragmented to create meaningful change. The most successful individuals throughout history share this common trait. They've developed the capacity to silence the noise and focus intensely on what matters. Not because they're superhuman, but because they recognize that attention is finite and must be protected with fierce intentionality. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing what might be the most essential skill in personal transformation: discernment. If something doesn't contribute to your growth, it shouldn't concern you. This isn't selfishness, it's strategic allocation of your most precious resource. If it doesn't build you, avoid it. If it doesn't advance you toward your vision, walk away without hesitation or guilt. The disciplined mind learns to filter out noise, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. This filtering isn't automatic. It requires conscious decision and consistent reinforcement. Each time you choose focus over distraction, depth over superficiality, purpose over randomness, you strengthen this filtering capacity. Behind the scenes of every remarkable transformation is this unseen but crucial process, the deliberate curation of inputs. The person who achieves extraordinary growth isn't consuming the same information, engaging in the same conversations, or exposing themselves to the same environments as the person who remains stagnant. This doesn't mean isolating yourself from reality or avoiding challenging perspectives. Quite the opposite. It means being so clear on your path that you can distinguish between what serves your evolution and what merely diverts you from it, between information that expands your understanding and noise that clutters your mental space, between relationships that elevate you and those that deplete you. The impact of this filtering extends far. Beyond productivity, it fundamentally alters your experience of life. When you stop allowing every external stimulus to commandeer your attention, a profound sense of inner peace emerges. Your mind becomes less reactive, more deliberate, more capable of sustained focus on what truly matters to your journey. If you're committed to developing this essential skill of filtering what serves your growth and silencing what doesn't, type selective attention in the comments below. Now let's explore how this disciplined focus transforms your relationship with time and how you can leverage to create extraordinary transformation. There's a fundamental distinction that separates those who merely exist from those who truly evolve. Intentionality trumps reactivity. In a world designed to keep you constantly responding to external stimuli, notifications, headlines, others' emergencies, social media updates, the path of intentionality becomes revolutionary. You don't rise by being reactive. You rise through deliberate, conscious choice, through approaching each day, each hour, each interaction with clear purpose, rather than simply responding to whatever happens to cross your path. This intentional stance doesn't develop automatically. It requires consistent practice and unwavering commitment to your own direction, especially when external forces pull against it. Think about the profound shift that occurs when you begin to protect your mind like the invaluable asset it truly is. Every thought you entertain, every piece of information you consume, every conversation you engage in, these either strengthen or weaken your mental foundation. They either clarify your vision or cloud it. They either energize your purpose or dilute it. Every minute spent absorbed in someone else's business, their drama, their opinions, their priorities, is a minute abandoned from your own development. This isn't about indifference to others. It's about recognizing the limited nature of your attention and directing it strategically toward what serves your growth. The masters of personal transformation throughout history share this common attribute. They've learned to act from internal direction rather than external reaction. They're not pulled by the urgent demands of the moment unless those demands align with their deeper purpose. They're not swayed by temporary trends or others' expectations. They move with intention, with clarity, with purpose. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing what might be the most critical element in sustaining transformation: momentum. Most people never reach their potential, not because they lack capability, but because they're too distracted to build momentum. They start and stop, caught in an endless cycle of initial enthusiasm followed by abandonment before meaningful progress can occur. The physics of personal transformation mirrors physical motion. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. Each focused action creates energy that makes the next action easier, which generates more energy, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of progress. But this momentum can only build through sustained focus on a single direction. Many pursue everything and master nothing. They dabble rather than dedicate. They sample rather than specialize. They start a new project before completing the current one. And this pattern of scattered attention ensures they never experience the accelerating power of momentum in any single area of their lives. Perhaps most revealing is what people choose to know. Many can recite endless trivia about celebrities, sports statistics, or current trends, yet remain complete strangers to their own purpose, potential, and next strategic move. They've become experts in what doesn't matter while remaining novices in what does. The revelation here isn't just that focus builds momentum, it's that without this focused momentum, transformation remains perpetually out of reach. The distance between intention and manifestation can only be crossed through sustained, concentrated effort in a single direction. If you're committed to shifting from reactivity to intentionality and building momentum through focused attention, type intentional momentum in the comments below. Now let's explore how this focused intentionality creates clarity in a world filled with confusion and distraction. There's a profound experience that emerges when you fully commit to this journey of transformation, the return of clarity. In a world designed to keep you perpetually confused, overwhelmed, and disconnected from your deepest wisdom, this clarity becomes nothing short of revolutionary. Once you deliberately detach from the constant noise and reconnect with your authentic mission, everything changes. The mental fog that once clouded your decisions begins to lift. The uncertainty that paralyzed your action dissolves. Clarity and power return not as temporary visitors, but as permanent residents in your consciousness. Think about those rare moments when you've experienced complete mental clarity, when the path forward appeared with crystal precision, when decisions seemed obvious rather than agonizing, when your purpose felt undeniable rather than questionable. These weren't random occurrences. They were glimpses of your natural state when not obscured by external chaos and internal clutter. Perhaps most significantly, you begin hearing your own voice again, that quiet but profound inner guidance that knows your true identity and direction far better than any external advisor ever could. This isn't mystical thinking. It's recognizing that beneath the layers of social conditioning, cultural programming, and others' expectations lies your authentic nature, already complete and inherently wise. But accessing this clarity requires courage. The courage to quiet external chaos long enough to listen, to temporarily disconnect from the incessant inputs that fragment your attention, to create sacred space where your own wisdom can emerge without competition from endless outside voices. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing what might be the most countercultural aspect of personal transformation. Mental strength builds in silence. In a world obsessed with constant stimulation, endless entertainment, and perpetual connectivity, the capacity for focused stillness becomes your greatest competitive advantage. The revelation is both startling and liberating. Most people can't sit alone with their thoughts for even 5 minutes without reaching for distraction. They've become so uncomfortable with their own mental landscape that they'll do almost anything to avoid inhabiting it fully. Scrolling, watching, consuming, anything to avoid the perceived discomfort of uninterrupted thought. Yet throughout history, the greatest insights, the most profound personal breakthroughs, and the deepest wisdom have emerged not from constant engagement, but from deliberate solitude, not from adding more, but from creating space, not from acceleration, but from stillness. This doesn't mean becoming a hermit or abandoning human connection. It means developing the increasingly rare capacity to be fully present with yourself, to embrace periods of stillness without frantically seeking escape, to welcome the insights that emerge when your mind isn't constantly bombarded with external inputs. The irony is beautiful. In a culture that equates busyness with importance and constant activity with progress, your willingness to periodically disconnect becomes the very thing that accelerates your advancement. Your capacity to embrace silence becomes the foundation for authentic power rather than its opposite. If you recognize the value of cultivating mental clarity through focused stillness, type inner silence in the comments below. Now let's examine how this capacity for mental stillness protects your most valuable resource in this journey of transformation, your energy. There's a profound truth that emerges when you fully commit to the path of transformation. Your energy is not infinite, and it must be fiercely protected. In a world constantly competing for your attention, your emotional investment, and your mental bandwidth, establishing strong energetic boundaries becomes not just helpful, but essential for meaningful growth. There will always be people attempting to pull you into their drama, their chaos, their urgent but ultimately unimportant concerns. Some do this unconsciously, while others have mastered the art of energy extraction, making their problems your responsibility, their urgency your emergency, their drama your distraction. You simply cannot afford these diversions when you're building something meaningful with your life. Think about the revelation that comes when you finally recognize your energy as your most precious commodity, more valuable than money, more essential than status, more fundamental than external validation. It forms the very foundation of your discipline, your creativity, your resilience. Without sufficient energy, even your most brilliant strategies and noble intentions remain unrealized. Protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's strategic. It's recognizing that your capacity to serve, to create, to transform is directly proportional to the quality and quantity of energy you preserve. Just as you wouldn't carelessly give away your financial resources, you must become equally discerning with your energetic resources. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing what might be the most uncomfortable aspect of personal transformation: being misunderstood. When you begin making choices that prioritize your growth, that honor your vision rather than others' expectations, that preserve your energy rather than depleting it, you will inevitably be misunderstood by those still operating from conventional mindsets. The revelation here is both challenging and liberating. You don't need to respond to every message, react to every post, or participate in every argument. You don't need to defend your choices to those who aren't capable of understanding them. You don't need to convince others of the validity of your path. Silence in these moments isn't weakness, it's power. Being misunderstood is simply the price of building something extraordinary while others remain ordinary. It's the natural consequence of stepping beyond conventional boundaries, of prioritizing long-term vision over short-term approval, of making choices based on internal wisdom rather than external validation. Behind the scenes of every remarkable journey of transformation is this unseen but crucial element: the willingness to be temporarily misunderstood in service of a greater vision. The courage to allow others their opinions without feeling compelled to correct them. The clarity to distinguish between constructive feedback that serves your growth and judgments that merely reflect others' limitations. This doesn't mean becoming cold or dismissive toward others. It means recognizing that not everyone will understand or support your journey, and that's completely acceptable. Some will misinterpret your boundaries as selfishness, your focus as obsession, your transformation as betrayal of who they thought you were. And in those moments, your commitment to your path will be tested most profoundly. If you Recognize the value of protecting your energy and embracing the occasional misunderstanding as simply the price of progress. Type boundary builder in the comments below. Now, let's examine how these principles of energy protection create the foundation for perhaps the most essential element of transformation, your self-commitment. There's a profound truth that emerges when you fully embrace this journey of transformation. You aren't obligated to carry the world's noise or provide constant reactions to its endless demands. The only true obligation you have is to yourself, to produce the results that align with your highest vision. You owe yourself these results. Not someday, not when conditions are perfect, but now, through daily commitment to your own evolution. More specifically, you owe your future self the version of you that maintained unwavering focus when distraction was easier, that chose discipline when comfort was available, that persisted when giving up seemed reasonable. Think about the covenant you make with your future self each time you choose growth over comfort. Each decision either honors or betrays that covenant. Each action either moves you toward becoming the person you're capable of becoming or keeps you trapped in familiar limitations. This isn't about perfection, it's about direction, about the aggregate of your choices, creating momentum toward your vision. The masters of personal transformation throughout history share this common attribute. They held themselves accountable to their own standards, regardless of external chaos or others' expectations. They understood that the most important promises are those we make to ourselves, and the most important promises to keep are those no one else knows about. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing what might be the most insidious obstacle to transformation: distraction. Unlike other thieves that forcibly break in, distraction operates through invitation. You open the door yourself by indulging in what doesn't matter, by giving your attention to what doesn't serve your growth. The revelation here is both confronting and empowering. Every time you scroll mindlessly through social media, argue pointlessly about matters beyond your influence, or consume content that neither educates nor elevates you, you're making a trade. You're exchanging your power for noise, your potential for temporary relief from boredom or discomfort, your clarity for confusion. This trade isn't neutral. It actively moves you away from your intended path, not dramatically but gradually, through 1,000 small diversions that collectively create significant deviation from your course. It's the accumulated impact of these seemingly innocent distractions that prevents most people from experiencing profound transformation. Behind the scenes of every remarkable journey of growth is this unseen but crucial discipline, the consistent refusal to be diverted from purpose, not through superhuman willpower, but through clear recognition of the value of your attention and the cost of squandering it on what doesn't matter. This doesn't mean becoming robotic or joyless. It means becoming intentional about where your attention goes, recognizing that your focus is the currency with which you purchase your future. It means distinguishing between genuine rest that restores your energy and mindless distraction that depletes it, between purposeful leisure that enhances your life and aimless consumption that diminishes it. The liberation comes when you realize that most distractions aren't forced upon you, they're invited by you. This means you have the power to uninvite them, to close the door, to reclaim your attention and redirect it toward what truly matters to your journey. If you recognize the power of owing yourself results and refusing to invite distractions that steal your potential, type "reclaiming my focus" in the comments below. Now let's examine how these principles of self-commitment create the foundation for reclaiming control of your life through your daily decisions. There's a liberating truth at the core of personal transformation. You can reclaim control of your life right now, not through some elaborate plan to change the world around you, but through simply making better choices in each moment. This isn't about dramatic gestures or radical external changes. It's about the quiet revolution that happens when you consistently choose what serves your growth over what diminishes it. Choose discipline over indulgence, not because pleasure is wrong, but because delayed gratification builds the character required for lasting fulfillment. Choose purpose over popularity, not because connection isn't valuable, but because approval-seeking behavior keeps you trapped in others' expectations rather than your authentic path. Choose focus over frenzy, not because activity isn't necessary, but because deliberate. Action toward clear objectives outperforms frantic motion every time. Think about the profound revelation that emerges when you finally understand that you weren't born to be available to everything and everyone. You weren't designed to respond to every demand, fulfill every expectation, or absorb every piece of information that crosses your path. You were born to create, to bring your unique gifts into expression, to contribute your distinctive perspective, to build something meaningful with the limited time you've been given. The journey of reclaiming control isn't about dominating circumstances, but about mastering your responses to them. It's about recognizing that while external conditions may vary, your internal sovereignty, your capacity to choose your focus, your attitude, your actions, remains constant regardless of what's happening around you. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing what might be the most transformative outcome of this entire journey. The unburdened mind and its remarkable velocity. When your world becomes quieter, when you've silenced unnecessary noise, eliminated pointless distractions, and reduced the chaos of scattered attention, something magical begins to happen. Your vision grows louder, no longer competing with 1,000 contradictory voices, but resonating with crystal clarity. Your path becomes clearer, the fog of confusion lifted by your deliberate choice to focus on what truly matters, and perhaps most. Remarkably, your progress accelerates, not through greater effort, but through more efficient use of the energy you've reclaimed from distractions. Nothing moves faster than a mind unburdened by distraction. This isn't metaphorical. It's the practical reality experienced by everyone who has mastered the art of focused attention. Problems that once seemed insurmountable suddenly reveal their solutions. Goals that appeared distant suddenly come within reach. Capabilities that seemed beyond you suddenly emerge when your mental bandwidth isn't fragmented across countless competing priorities. Behind the scenes of every extraordinary achievement is this hidden foundation, not just talent or resources or opportunities, but the focused intensity that becomes possible only when you've liberated your mind from unnecessary burdens, from the noise that most people carry as their normal state of consciousness. The world's noise isn't your business. Your growth is. This simple but profound shift in perspective changes everything. It frees you from the exhausting obligation to know everything, respond to everything, care about everything. It returns you to your primary purpose, becoming the fullest, most authentic expression of your potential. If you're committed to unburdening your mind and reclaiming the remarkable velocity that comes with focused attention, type mental freedom in the comments below. Now let's explore how this liberated consciousness transforms your relationship with one of the most fundamental forces in your journey, discipline and consistency. If you've made it this far on this journey with me, I know something resonates deeply within you. There's a reason you stayed until the end. Something in these words connected with the part of you that knows you're capable of more, that recognizes your potential for transformation. This conversation we've been having isn't just theory, it's an invitation. An invitation to step fully into the process of rebuilding yourself daily with intention and discipline, to silence the distractions and focus on what truly matters, your evolution into the person you're capable of becoming. I've shared these insights because they've transformed my own life and countless others, and I'd love to continue this journey with you. If you found value in this message, consider hitting that like button, not for algorithms, but as a signal to yourself that you're committed to this path of growth. Take a moment to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Each video builds on these principles, offering new perspectives and practical approaches to personal transformation. This isn't content for consumption, it's fuel for your evolution. And if this message truly spoke to you today, leave a comment with the words "Rebuilding Daily," not just for me to see, but as a public declaration of your commitment to this journey. Sometimes stating your intention creates accountability that propels you forward when motivation wanes. Right next to this video, you'll find another that explores the power of mental discipline in creating lasting change. Click over when you're ready to continue deepening your understanding of what's possible when you fully commit to your own transformation. Until next time, remember, you are your greatest project. Treat yourself like it.